Who you got?
Who do you got?
Who you got? Hey, Mom. Get my
Mom,
eighth pair of
meatloaf.
socks.
I don't know what she does back there. But you ran some numbers.
Yeah.
You tell me what they have to do, and I'll tell you if I think it's realistic.
Okay. Alright, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Fireside Chat. This is episode 2. It's been a pretty good week for the Padres, you know. How you feeling? How you feeling after last series? 2 series is here.
We say a pretty good week, but the Phillies series was painful. It's nice that at this moment we're 46 and 50.
Yep.
And we've taken 2 from the Jays. They don't suck. I'm happy with that. But I'm still wondering, are the Padres in a position to realistically make the playoffs? Like, what
Right.
are your thoughts? Because I am leaning towards no.
Yeah.
But you ran some numbers.
Yeah.
You tell me what they have to do, and I'll tell you if I think it's realistic.
Okay. Yeah, let me show you what you got. And it's not like, nothing crazy. But basically what I did was I just, looked at the last 3 full seasons, said, what, with this new playoff format, what's like the minimum record based off historics that we would need to get in the playoffs?
I like it.
And so based off of that, to me at least, what I'm looking at is the magic number for the Padres is 85 wins.
85 wins. And we're
Yeah.
at 46.
Yeah. So there are 66 games remaining in the season.
It's not sounding great.
So that means we would have to go, or the Padres, have to go 39 and 27, which is about 600 baseball.
Which they've been doing all year, but not really at all in any way, shape, or form. So my gut says, no, it's not realistic. But at the same time, they haven't played to their potential all year. They really haven't. They haven't had a run more than, 3 games? 4 games?
I think 3.
3.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a run of 3, it's kind of not realistic to think you can
Right.
play 600 ball.
Right.
But it's a team completely capable
Right.
of going on a hot run. So I don't know. Realistically, I don't think so. But I'm hopeful, and there's talent to back up that hope.
Yeah.
Where do you sit with it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm always optimistic, probably to a fault with this team.
That's that's a Padre fan.
I mean, even that opening, thinking back just to my opening statement, like, oh, pretty good week. And then I really thought about it, and I was like, wait, we lost 3 to the Phillies. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just in a permanent state of we played 500 baseball. That's a good week for the Padres.
That is. This year.
So I think that's a little bit funny. But, we were also, just to kind of revisit that, right? We were looking at the schedule coming up, right? Because I feel like that's relevant as well. And it's like,
For sure.
so we've got Pittsburgh, Rangers, Colorado, Dodgers, Arizona, Baltimore, Arizona again, Miami, Brewers. So it's like pretty even. But check out this last run here. So in September, you're starting off with San Francisco and Philly, which is,
Not
okay,
great.
and the Astros, and then the Dodgers. So the first half of September isn't great. But, okay.
Make me feel better,
the
please.
last 5 series, ready? Oakland,
Great.
Colorado,
Yep.
St. Louis,
Yep.
San Francisco, and Chicago White Sox.
That's solid, but quick question. Is Colorado at Colorado or at Petco?
Colorado is at Petco.
Much better. We do not like playing at Coors Field. Okay, so that is... I mean, gosh, I almost wish you didn't tell me that because at this point now I have to hold out hope all year because there's always going to be that last stretch where they might go on like a 15-game run. I don't know. Not really. It probably won't happen. But that is nice to know that when it comes down to crunch time, it sounds like we're going to have a pretty decent schedule to really sink our teeth into.
Right.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, I think
right.
it'll be kind of telling too, right? Because talking about September specifically, right? Like that first chunk, you're playing the Dodgers, you're playing the Astros. It's like, okay, so these would be hypothetically, if you got to the playoffs, those are teams you're going to be facing. So that's interesting. But then it goes, to that last 5 series. I don't know. Lots could happen in the last month is what I'm saying.
Well, a lot can happen in this next month. I mean, at this point, it feels like every series is going to be indicative of whether or not we're buying or selling, or if we're going to be staying put. So, that's the part that worries me, right? If it gets down to that last stretch and we have maybe even a bolstered lineup that's maybe a little better than it is now, or even the same, let's say it stays the same, that's probably where this is going to be.
Right.
I feel good about that. But if we play garbage baseball for the next couple of weeks and end up selling a little bit, doesn't matter who you're playing at the last half. Right. Because you're kind of putting in the towel and trying to say better luck next year. Because there is a core. We have a core group of guys that are going to be here for a long time. Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, Musgrove, Darvish, and then you still have Kim. You still have a couple other pieces in there.
Possible signings.
So yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that core that's going to give you hope.
Yeah.
But I would love for them to just figure it out this year. I want now.
I know. I don't want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the next 2 months future, 3 months future.
As a Padre fan, this is what we do. I mean, we've always been having to look to the future. These are the years where we're supposed to have a real go at it, and the fact that it's not happening is killing me. I hate it so much. I sat through the years of Will Venable. I sat through the years of even the first exciting run of getting Kemp and Upton and Will Myers and Derek Norris and Craig Kimbrell. Remember that?
Yes.
Ended in a fire sale.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the same thing now, but just we've sat through the crap. Can we just get some gold?
So
bring the gold.
Yeah, that brings on another good question, right? Like revisiting kind of the trade talks. So last time we talked, you were saying bolster, and really, like we said, not a ton has changed. You know, are you in the same position? Do you view it the same?
I'm exactly the same. What I said last time was that we could use some relief pitching arms, and from the people that I talked to about the Padres, and we all pull our hair out. It makes the most sense. I mean, relief pitching is probably the most bang for your buck, right? You're not going to go out and get someone who's going to cost you a ton. You can get a great relief pitching arm that helps solidify the back end of the game for as minimal a price as any other position. So going out and getting that seems like a must, especially with the recent struggles. Quick touch on this week, though. The rookies came up, and they gave us our first stress-free win.
Yeah.
And then you handed over to the guys who were supposed to do it, and they did it. It was kind of like they were looking at them going, the rookies got to do it. How are we not doing
Can't
it?
Get shown up.
Yeah. Then you got Steven Wilson coming in the 7th, scoreless. Martinez, scoreless. Hader, scoreless. So that's how it's supposed to work. It hasn't been.
Right.
But it's encouraging to see that that's happening. I still think they could use an extra relief arm.
Okay. And so how are you getting that piece then?
The problem is around the league, there are so many teams like us in regards to they don't know if they're buyers or sellers yet.
Right.
I feel like in years past, there's been very clear buyers, very clear sellers.
Yeah.
And it's just not, I think we're going to have to wait. I think we're going to have to wait to see where other teams fall to say, who are we going to get this from? Right. So we'll see. There's a lot of bullpen arms that you can kind of just try and grab and see if they work in our system. But what are your thoughts? I mean, I feel like I always talk about the trade deadline. What's your take on it? Do you agree? I mean, if it's a simple I agree, then it makes me feel good.
I mean, I think I do. I think I agree. I mean, mostly because, I have not given up on the season.
Right.
I obviously it's helpful for me. I'm very numbers driven, I think, to see, and I'm like, okay, so 600 baseball, are there moves that we should make? Because I think before I really looked at the numbers and saw what was possible and what was not, it felt really deflating, especially after Philadelphia. And I think at that point, after that series, I found myself running all the scenarios in my head. I'm like, well, do we get rid of Soto? And you get so many pieces for him and blah, blah, blah. But it's if you want to go on a run, if you want to perform in the playoffs, isn't Soto a guy you'd probably want? So I've gone back and forth a lot in my head. And so, after that back and forth, I think you're right.
I'm with you on that because after that Phillies series, you couldn't help but think, I don't want to lose this season, not make the playoffs, and get nothing for a Hader, a Snell, or at this point, premium Soto. I think a lot of people are thinking in that way. I feel like everyone has that struggle. Wouldn't it be great, though, if the Padres just start playing good baseball and we can all rally behind them and say, F the trade talk, let's just go for it, and here's some let's effing go San Diego excitement around the ballpark.
That would be great.
I would love it.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it, you and I, off camera a little bit, too. It just seems like we know the talent is there. That's not a question. And then we had talked about it where it was, there's a couple components. There's starting pitching, relief pitching, offense, and defense, right? Those are the 4 things that make up your team. And it's okay, defense has been solid.
Yep.
Right? Defense, can't complain. Actually, the best defensive team in the league? Is that
I'm not sure about
or
that.
like we're up there. I
We're up
remember
there.
seeing that on a broadcast. I think like we're definitely up there. So no complaints there, and that's been consistent. But it just seems like between the other three, between starting, relief, and offensively, it's just like all year one of those has been missing. Like two are clicking, one's missing, and then like the next week or the next month or whatever, it'll just rotate. It's like a round robin. Like, okay, who's gonna not perform this week? And that's been frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, we say it's frustrating as fans.
Yeah.
Imagine being in the clubhouse, right? Like you and I have played on a lot of teams. We've played at a high level where, at some point it feels like it's our lives. In college, that's your job. That's what you're doing. You've got your boys and everyone's relying on you and all these things happen. And when a team's not going right, it puts strain on relationships. And as much as any team does not want to play the finger pointing game, these guys are professionals. They know how hard the game is. They're not looking after a win or a loss or two going, hey, that's your fault. It doesn't work like that. But when you have a whole season where it is kind of that round robin of someone coming up short, it's hard to fight the human instinct that goes, I'm doing my part. I need you to do yours.
Yeah.
And then when it's, you're not doing your part, you feel like crap. And they're looking at you and going, golly, we gave you run support. Why'd you give up 10?
Yep.
Or I gave you 1 run game. Why can't you put up 2? Yep. Something like that. And it's just hard. And you hope that that's not happening. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the mentality of like, picking up your teammates, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like rather, and it almost just seems like kind of what you were saying, right? It wasn't like earlier in the season, especially, it felt kind of just like, oh, well, so-and-so, they're not doing their job, whatever, as opposed to like, oh, tough day for so-and-so or this, element, let's pick them up.
Yep.
And it's like, I think that, if not all things are firing, then it's like, well, you got to compensate elsewhere,
That is one of the best points I think I've heard. And it's something that takes me back to the playing days because there's a huge difference in your own personal mentality when you have someone pick you up. And that is the difference between good teams and great teams.
No.
Great teams pick each other up.
Yep.
And that is, no one player can be on for 162. Impossible. Doesn't happen, never will happen, never happens. But when you as a collective, that guy goes 0 for 4, or that guy doesn't come up with the bases loaded. Say a strikeout, bases loaded, 1 out, now it's 2 down. I'm not feeling great. I didn't get the runner in with less than 2 outs. Yep. But if the guy behind me gets a base knock, scores him, picks me up, my mentality changes completely. Yeah. I'm no longer thinking about it, but say they don't come up and we lose that inning, I'm thinking about it. I'm taking it to the field. I don't want to, but it happens.
Yeah.
So
not to.
That's the difference between good and great teams. You need people to pick each other up, and it hasn't happened with the Padres yet. They want to do it. They need to do it. Yes. I hate it. I hate that they haven't because it's just it sucks. It sucks.
No, I feel you. I think kind of building off that point a little bit. Someone who's been really hot, of course, has been Manny Machado lately, and I think we maybe touched on it a little bit in the first one, but it's like that dude's like he is the team. Like not what I mean? Like do you know what I'm saying? Yes. Like he's very much indicative of like how I feel like the team overall performs.
Look at how Manny's stat line goes and see if it's a win or a loss. You can normally tell whether we won or lost based off of his stat line.
Yeah. So that's something I definitely been kind of keeping track of lately, and I think is going to continue to be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And they did a stat on that on the broadcast, right? They said he's hitting over 300 and his slug is up on the games we win, and when in our losses, he's hitting like sub 200. So it really is what you said. As Manny goes, we go. It's his team. Yeah. You kind of saw that in years past with Tatis. Tatis was like the catalyst, and he was the horse, and he's been playing great, which is fun to watch. But on that note, some of the good things that are going on, let's kind of dive into the week. We're talking a lot of generalities.
Yeah.
But let's go into the Phillies series, what we've seen so far in the Blue Jays. Blake Snell, pitching great again. Yu Darvish, pitching great again.
Yeah, starting pitching has been nice.
Fun fact on Blake Snell.
Let's hear it.
I've never heard this before. I actually heard it, and I was like, oh, my God. There's very few times that I listen to a broadcast and go, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
starting pitcher, it's hot and humid in Philly. The dude went into the clubhouse, into the tunnel, and was changing his socks because they were getting soaked. He was changing his sleeves and his jersey at one point. I've never heard.
While he was like during his start.
In the game, his start between innings, went into the clubhouse and changed his uniform, changed his socks because it was that hot. Yeah. I didn't know you could A, do that, B, that I know they have extra uniforms and stuff, but like enough to
like change it multiple times. Was it multiple times or just like once?
I think the jersey had to be ones. I don't think they have 5 jerseys
like,
sitting around.
no
but
problem,
socks
Blake. We
for
got 5 copies of your jersey in back.
Socks was probably every other inning. I mean, I know my feet sweat.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'd never heard of that.
I haven't either. That's interesting. Although I do remember, like, especially if you were like very humid days, or I remember playing in Atlanta some summers, and like you'd be sweating through your socks and everything, and when you slide, you just got a cake. Like
it's mud.
Cake mud stuck on you, and it's like gets heavy.
It does.
You know, like it's a real thing. You know, I didn't actually buy it until it happened.
Would have loved
to
to have had
you
extra
know?
socks. Then,
right? Exactly. You know, if I had unlimited kind of like, or not unlimited, but like, you know, the resources and the clubhouse attendance, that would like be like, heck yeah, dude.
Should have just gone pro. They would have done it for
evidently, right? Or just like said, hey, mom, get my
Mom,
8th pair of socks.
I don't know what she does back there.
Well, think about mom. They probably would do it too. Like, guaranteed, if I asked my mom to do it, she'd be all over it.
Yeah, it's nice to have supportive parents.
Yeah. Right?
Keynote of the show: have supportive parents. No, and also another fun Snell cool guy fact.
Yeah.
He got shoes for Don and Arcello, the broadcasters, when they went to Seattle, which is his hometown.
Wait, you mean Mud and Arcello? You said Don and Arcello.
Yeah, he goes by. Yeah, no, damn it.
I know what you meant.
You knew what I meant. The broadcasters for the San Diego Padres got free shoes from Snell because he's a nice guy. Question for you, though. Do you think Snell cared about getting snubbed from the All-Star game?
Yeah, well, he said he did, right?
He did. I was propping it up for you.
He
absolutely did.
I thought I heard that.
This is the guy that was mad that his MLB The Show rating was too low. Of course he cared.
Well, yeah, and that one too. It's like, how do they vote for the pitchers? It's like it's player and coaches, isn't it?
I actually have no idea.
I don't know. We'll have to check. If anybody knows, please leave us a comment because
we look dumb.
I don't know actually.
I don't know how
I feel weird that I don't know. I feel like that would have come up.
Whoever did it deserves to get a backhand because Snell, I mean, to snub a guy in his hometown or near his hometown, I mean, what a joke. I mean, his numbers are legit. He didn't start off the year great, but what his numbers ended at were great.
Out. Yeah, for a long time.
Sub-3 ERA.
Yeah.
Whip close to 1. I mean, pitcher of the month. It's just it sucked to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Next year, Snell. The bad part about that, though, too, is he's only been an All-Star once because of his historically prevalent bad first halves. He's always a second-half pitcher, and the All-Star break is all based on what you've done in the first half. So he only has 1 All-Star to his name. Mm-hmm. He's a Cy Young pitcher.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, 1 All-Star appearance.
I didn't know that.
Crazy.
I mean, it was the same year with the Cy Young, presumably, yeah?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, interesting.
Wasn't as a Padre.
Either yeah. Yeah, good point. You know, so something that we didn't cover last week that I am still curious about, and actually
I know where you're going.
Makes me think of a couple other things too.
I got the segue for you.
Yeah,
Let me give it to you. The Padres have recently gotten rid of 3 people. Odor got designated for assignment. They sent down Nola, and they sent down Dixon.
And they DFA'd Odor.
I thought I said that, but yeah.
Wait. No. You did say that. I meant, sorry. I was thinking Cruz, Odor.
So they DFA'd Cruz.
That's what I meant. My bad.
So I have a theory on Cruz. You know, it was shocking when it happened because it happened a while ago when they weren't doing terrible.
Yeah.
And you had Matt Carpenter, who's performed not as well in the DH spot. You have people with similar numbers in Odor that were hitting around the same as him, and he was if a lefty's in, DH in every game.
Right.
And on top of that, he was the veteran leadership for a lot of the Spanish-speaking guys, and just anyone, really. But, like, he has that connection. He speaks Spanish. He's been in the league forever. He's done a lot of great things.
Right, it's like an extra coach.
Yeah, he's an extra coach. He's a bench piece that's supposed to help boost morale. So, like, even if his numbers are down, you expect to still see him there for those reasons alone. And to see him get kind of thrown to the side was really weird.
It was, it was kind of, I think it was at, like, a random-ish time, too, right?
Out of left field, pun intended. But, yeah, I think... Yeah. And this is all speculation.
Yeah, because this is the part that I want to hear. Like,
this is all speculation. This is my thought.
Yeah, give me your spec.
If you have a guy who's supposed to be a leader and the numbers aren't the most important thing and you let him go, that means he's not doing that piece that you're thinking he would.
Right.
Or that maybe he's going against the grain and not giving the influence that you wanted for those players and maybe taking them away from your vision if your leadership, right? Because he was also cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
I know
he's burning a hole in our pocket.
And he was still hitting home runs.
He was still hitting. He was hitting around 250 and hitting home runs off left and right. So I think it was a clubhouse issue. And when they talked to Manny about it, who's very close with Cruz,
Yeah.
that's a guy who you would expect to stick up for him maybe if it was unjust.
Yeah.
Right? He would have a certain tone about it. He seemed very, I don't want to say on board about letting him go, but he wasn't surprised. When he was talking about it, he didn't sound shocked.
It was just like,
it seemed
yeah,
like this needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We love Cruz, but it's time to go. So I think it was a clubhouse thing. I think there was some clash in there in the vision, or him having shortcomings with bringing the guys under the wings in the right way. So that's my thought on it. We'll see. We'll never know if that's true, but that's my thought. It doesn't, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
him getting released the way it happened just doesn't make sense from a paper.
Yeah,
and what he's supposed to be.
Like
guy
performing
and
much better than Carpenter was, right? So
Carpenter has the contract thing that makes it more complicated, but still, it didn't make sense for Cruz to go the way he did, and that's my theory.
Interesting.
Sticking to it.
Yeah, no, I think that's very interesting. And some insightful pieces behind the scenes. I think you're picking up on there. And do you think then, was it clashing with Bob Melvin? Was it with AJ?
I can't. I couldn't guess on that. All I would know is that
just somewhere the gears didn't line up.
If he's getting let go because of a clubhouse issue, it's going to be from one of the captains relaying it to Bomel, or Bomel seeing it himself. It's not going to be Preller. Preller's not going to be able to have the eyes on that, but, we won't even mention
Or who knows? Maybe it was just like, hey, we need to get away from power and be a speed team. We need young speed guys.
It has been nice to see more rookies come up and just play decent.
Perform pretty well, right?
Pitchers are always tricky, right? You never want to get too high on a rookie pitcher because the book's not out on him, right? I mean, look at Chris Paddock. Started out amazing. He looked like he was going to be our ace.
That's a great example.
And then the book came out on him, and he got shelled. Then, oh my gosh, his book was so easy. Change up, down, take, because it doesn't stay in the zone. See the fastball up and pounce on it. It was straight. Anyways, no need to talk about that guy. But then Ryan Weathers, too. Ryan Weathers came up, was doing amazing, looked great.
And now it's
book out. Figured it out. So these two relievers, though, I like the fact that they don't throw 97. It's different.
Cosgrove and Alec, is his name?
It's like
Alec something?
Yeah, the other one.
Okay. Yeah, the other guy, he just came up.
Yeah, but they don't throw hard. They're big movement guys.
Alec Jacob.
That's Alec Jacob.
Yeah.
Both movement guys, and you don't see as much of that in the league. How weird is it that a guy that doesn't throw 97, it's like, oh, that's different.
Right.
Back in the day, that was the outlier.
Just give me something funky.
Yeah, and oh my God, Cosgrove's slider is the only thing I can classify as a true sweeper. That thing starts at one side of the plate and is off the plate on the other. It's nuts. As a lefty,
I can't imagine.
I couldn't hit it
as a lefty.
He could start it at
my
my
arm
hip.
slots way over here, and it's still coming across, and it's sweeping at the same time. It's like,
I'm 0 for 10, 0 for 20 on that pitch every time.
Yeah, you could tell you what's coming, and you'd be like, "Ugh."
Yeah,
swing a miss.
I'd turn on the way. But anyway, so it's nice to see them do well. Beyond that, what are some other good things that have happened? Because I don't want to focus on the negative. We still haven't won a game in extra innings. Mm-hmm. They went to the 12th.
Oh, yeah, that was tough. After a great play from Gary Sanchez.
Oh, my God.
Great play.
So good.
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know what to even say about the extra innings thing, because it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe we just happen to be the visiting team every time. I don't know, because I do think it's harder to be a visiting team, Because at least when you're a home team, you kind of know, like, okay, if we hold them, then, we can just, play small ball, get one. Or if they do score, then we know to go big. Whereas as a visitor, you're kind of gambling, like, do we play for one? Do we play for two? So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe I would like to see the split on if we're losing at home or if it's on the road.
I mean, we haven't won one.
Right.
They've all been, but I get what you're saying. It is different.
Because if there's, I feel like 8
Playing
of
for
those
one is
9 is visiting or something,
Well, here's the thing. The Padres actually, as of late, have decided to start playing for one. They will typically bunt, even if they're away. We just need to get one.
Yeah,
because they're not hitting with runners and scoring anyway.
More activity on the bases, I feel like, too, which I like.
I do like it.
Yeah.
Just always hard to let it down in the 12th, because that means that your bullpen shut them down. Your bullpen did their job, and when they're in a phase of the season where they're not typically doing that, you want to reward them with a win.
Right.
And it didn't happen. Tim Hill performed well in that extra innings game, and I think he got hit with the loss. I'm not sure, but not great.
Yeah.
All right, fun game.
Okay, let's do it.
We haven't done it before. Play along at home. It's called Who Do You Got? So it's going to be a category, and you tell me who you think will achieve that in the next game. So today it's Thursday. This will be against the Blue Jays. We've got Blake Snell on the bump.
Got it.
So first one, who do you think will have a multi-hit game on the Padres today?
Multi-hit game. Let's go Tatis.
Tatis?
Tatis.
That's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I'm going with, because he's so due.
Gotta go with the soft. Yeah.
People are going to think I like this guy a lot. I like him, but not as much as it's going to come across. Jake Cronenworth. He's due. I'm going multi-hit for Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, you're right.
Next category, who do you think will have an RBI?
Ooh.
Run batted in.
Machado. I'm taking the easy ones.
Take the easy ones?
Yeah.
I'm going Sanchez.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, mine are sleepers. And then last one on the offensive side, who's hitting the long ball? Has to be different than the RBI, so you can't pick Tatis.
But I could pick one that you said.
You picked Machado, actually. Can't be Machado. You can
Right,
pick someone
I can't repeat one of my picks, but I
For
can
RBI.
because I was gonna say Sanchez for home run.
We would both win on the RBI and home run. Home run for me. Give me some Hassan Kim.
Oh, okay.
Hassan Kim with the home run. And I hope his helmet falls off when he hits it. It'll be great. I'll cheer twice.
Oh,
as
it'll
loud.
always fall. Did you hear? They talked about it on the broadcast. Did you hear that part?
I
He
did
said
hear it.
his-
I'm going to let you say it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
his head just does not it's a completely different shape than the helmet apparently. And they're like, well, wait, it's an oval. How does your head not fit in there?
None
Like,
of the sizes fit him.
what shaped head do you have? You know, like that's beyond me.
Hopefully he gets something custom next year.
That would be nice.
He's earned it.
Yeah.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
Next category for Blake Snell, over under 8 Ks in the outing.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one. He's been doing really well with that.
He
kind of
has
stuff.
been doing well, but I feel like it's not a big strikeout
I disagree.
lineup.
Varsho,
That's true.
Belt.
But do you think
left-handed
they'll
Belt.
have Varsho in against the lefty?
I don't think they'll have Belt in the more I think about it. But
Belt's
Varsho,
not
I
going to
think, will be
play. Varsho's like a maybe, I feel like.
I'm going to be optimistic and say
I'll say
over.
Okay, I'll say under then.
Good.
I'll say under.
I like it's more fun that way.
Yeah, it is.
Who is going to be first out of the pen? This can tell a lot. It's telling, do you think Snell's going to go late to where it's our typical 7th inning guy?
That's a good one.
Who's the first guy
Because I
out?
wanted to say it would be like a righty, but our good righties went today.
Who do you got?
I'll say Cosgrove
He's earned it.
first out of the pen.
First out of the pen. Cosgrove.
Yeah.
Golly. It's kind of limited. Wilson's coming off the IL. I don't think they'll go back-to-back days on him. Kitty cat alert. If you're listening on the podcast, there's a cat on the table. I'm not weird. Let's go with Martinez. He didn't pitch that many.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
that's
going
a
Martinez.
safe pick because he can pitch every single freaking day if he wanted to.
And then last but not least, what do you think the final score will be against the Padres and the Blue Jays?
That's a good one to end on.
You've said they're all good, and that makes me feel good. I'm glad you like the game.
Yeah, those are all good categories, you know. Let's see. Bassett's on the mound. He's not bad.
It was 2-0 tonight.
I'm going to say, let's say 4-2 Padres. That's my pick.
I like it. I think it's going to be a deceptively high-scoring game.
Yeah?
Snell's due for a high-scoring outing. I hope it doesn't happen, but let's go against the grain. I'm going 6-4.
Okay.
Of course, the Padres.
Nice.
Right on.
Very nice.
And that wraps up our first game segment of Who Do You Got?
Who you got?
Who do you got?
Who you got? I already told you who I got.
Who dat me dat?
Who you got? If you're
That
watching.
is true.
Yeah. Anyone watching.
And this will actually be coming out, and you'll probably see this after the game has already happened. So you'll know if we're right or wrong right away, and we'll look either really smart or really dumb. Probably really
We'll
dumb.
get something. There's like the odds are that some one thing that you said.
You say
right?
that, and we're going to have 0,
Yeah.
which is impressive.
That would be actually, I feel like, more impressive.
It would be. Have you ever played, what's that game? Keno?
No.
Keno. Oh, my God. Well, thank you. That sets us up perfectly. Keno, you pick numbers, and if they come up on the board, you make money. But if you get 0, you make even more money.
Really?
Past a certain number.
Okay, interesting.
You clearly haven't been to the Midwest in a bar.
Cannot say that I have.
Right on.
Sweet. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for episode 2. We will catch you all in a week, and thank you again for tuning in.
Cheers.
See ya.